All right, we are live. We are back. I feel like it's been Raju, you drinking beer this time afternoon?
Very, yaar.
No, okay.
Yeah, I got pulled over the other day. I told you that story. I got pulled over by a policeman because I was going for a cup of coffee at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's my
Hmm,
normal time.
hmm.
So I'm going for a cup of coffee. He pulls me over. He says, "Sir, have you had a drink?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "When did you have a drink?" I said, "In 1987."
Oh, what did he say then?
He started laughing. He said, "Oh, I mean, recently." I said, "Well, you asked me if I've had a drink. When was the last time you had a drink?" I gave you the answer.
Yeah. That's funny. That is interesting. I don't know if I would have said that, but now I'll try that. I mean, I've never got pulled over ever before,
I have
so
what? मेरा तो रूटीन मेरा तो रूटीन
right.
है.
And anyway, I know people are here. Again, thank you all for joining. I know it's been long time, 4 weeks, I think, and I know Bautik is here. Everyone has been texting. Zahan was texting, like, why did you stop us? Like, "Arey, we didn't stop. It's just timings were
आग लग गई थी.
हाँ, आग लग गई थी, right. It's still not 100% contained, but lot has happened since then, and we should start there. Like, what do you think? Like, I think everyone has been curious about what happens if Trump becomes the president, and I'm like, let
So what?
me.
Last time he was president, we sued the administration 15 times. We won 14 cases within a couple of weeks. They
Hmm,
settled.
nice.
So we'll just go back to suing. Just make a little bit more room in our schedule and start suing again.
Right. Yeah, but like, do you feel like he'll do some crazy? I mean, we don't know, right?
I don't think he's going to win this time.
Oh, really? But the polls and everything says like looks like he's gonna win.
It's very close, but he's not going to win.
Hmm. Okay, interesting. Any new updates in terms of? I know second round lottery results are out. I guess people are gonna ask, are third round going to happen?
Yeah, I want to talk about national interest waivers
Okay.
just for a couple of minutes.
Hmm.
Biggest problem we are having with national interest waivers is, see, first 8 or 9 months out of the last 12, and the period before that, we were getting NIWs very easily. Okay. Now be careful. We are now getting a lot of denials. Even one of the cases got revoked after approval. 2 months later, they said we are revoking. We approved it by mistake. Why? Two
Whoa.
things they are focusing on.
Hmm.
One, okay, fine, you work in a field which is important to the United States.
Hmm.
But what is it that you do which is important? So, in
Hmm.
other words, what is your contribution which we can say is very important or beyond the ordinary? Number one. So, number two is how is the impact of your work national or substantial on your field? One of the two. So, for
Hmm.
example, I just filed a case for a, a quantum mathematician who's doing a lot of work in quantum mathematics, and the mathematics of quantum phenomena. So for him, he's not making money for the US, but he's advancing the field. And the
Hmm.
field itself is critical because quantum mechanics, which leads to quantum computing, is a critical field.
Hmm.
So, two things. हिंदी में बात करूं तो what is the big deal about you? And
Hmm.
two, what is the big deal about your work? If you
Hmm.
cannot answer these two questions, you're going to have a hard time. If you win, very good, we celebrate. But it's that's where people are getting stuck.
Hmm.
For last several months, we've completely changed the way we work.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. And there was a lot of highs and lows are there, but any updates on H1B modernization rule?
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, I posted it on my LinkedIn account. By the way, once again, I remind everyone, if you are trying to connect with me on LinkedIn, please make sure your ID is verified.
Hmm.
If you don't want to put your picture, I can respect that, but at least make sure that your ID is verified. Okay. Um, so I posted, government has said Well, we are going to change the way we let people do H1Bs for their own companies. And we said that we were going to modernize the H1B regulations. And under the new regulations, as long as you can prove employer employee relationship, which means somebody can fire you from your own company, um, we will approve the H1B even if you own majority stock in your company. Okay. That's what we were going to do. Some people may already qualify under this.
Hmm.
Okay. So um, somebody asked me the question on LinkedIn. They wanted to know when was this rule going to come into effect. And I said, I will answer the question as precisely as USCIS has answered, soon. Of course, soon geological time hai, which means 3 billion years, or
Right,
is it human time? I do not know.
right, right. Hmm. Okay. So looks like we are getting some questions, and since this is not streaming live on YouTube yet, what I did is people are sending me the questions. So regardless, you don't need to know the
Can
details.
I say mean and nasty things and you can edit them out later?
Yes, you can.
Oh, good.
All right. Vinay is asking, I was selected in this year's H1B lottery. I have the approval notice. I was laid off while on cap. Employer agreed to put me on unpaid leave and will pay out a regular paycheck on October 15th.
Well, we've talked about this before. I'll summarize it again. My first preference for lottery people is that you have at least worked a couple of pay periods for the employer after October 1st,
Hmm.
if your start date is October 1st. First preference. Second preference is that you haven't worked for them, but they are not going to revoke your H1B until after October 1st.
Hmm.
And third is that you tell them not to revoke or you transfer before October 1st. And of course, the last one is they are going to revoke, but you try to transfer. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here is something to be mindful about. So I still have time left on my STEM OPT.
Hmm.
The moment I file H1B with a change of status request, my service is suspended. So I'm no longer on STEM OPT, I'm on cap, which is a lousy arrangement, frankly. They should let me consume my STEM extension, because why are you, until the H1B is actually approved, you shouldn't revoke my service, but they are doing it. Okay. So now what happens is, when my H1B is in jeopardy, I tell my employer, can you please revoke my H1B?
Hmm.
Because until the revocation is officially done, my DSO cannot reinstate my service. Otherwise, I could go back to my STEM, because my change of status was never approved. And unfortunately, while I'm waiting for my H1B to be revoked and STEM to be reinstated, I am losing time out of the 150 days I have for the 3 years of my out of work period. I'm losing time on that. So what should you do? Immediately open a service ticket with the USCIS. They're not going to do anything, but add an emergency case to the ombudsman's office that this is a system problem. Hundreds of students, if not thousands, are suffering from the same problem. Please
Hmm.
do something for us. Correct this problem. Enough people file, they'll take notice.
And the email's address is easily available.
Ombudsman is online now.
Yeah.
Unka to you can open a ticket and you can mark it emergency if it's emergency.
Acha.
They are also changing. I think they have hired 4 local area ombudsman, not ombudsman, but mini ombudsman, whatever their title is. So assistants will be covering each area. That might get more efficient. See,
Hmm.
ombudsman reports to the USCIS about their findings about the systemic problems, and they also report to Congress.
Hmm.
So they can address these problems at the procedural level, which is the N level. Nobody really thinks about these problems. It's sort of like having a complicated prompt with AI. By the time you get to the 28th line, it's forgotten the first 9 lines. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like that. And you keep reminding the ombudsman's office, they catch on and they put it in the report, and then things happen.
Hmm.
It's a minor thing, they can adjust it very easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I have masters in mechanical engineering with specialization in materials. I'm going to start working as a transportation engineer for a state DOT in a materials testing lab who are going to file my H1B cap exam. Will there be any issue since my master's is in mechanical and the job is in civil engineering? This is my first job after my master's.
No, all engineerings are kissing cousins. They're all puppy chucky cousins.
Right. So basically, he can justify it that it is related to my
He's
education.
working in DOT, no? Or materials testing may, because the material that you are testing is probably non-destructive testing of building material or road material. So
Hmm.
it's kind of a, it lies in between civil and mechanical, civil, mechanical, material, all these combined.
Hmm. Okay, so no problem, you are saying.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. If I'm getting offered a manager position in India for the same company and I go there for a year and then come back on the same manager position in US for the same company, would I be eligible for EB1C? Would USCIS question why I was working mid senior level 3 years, then got a manager position directly?
USCIS is not your HR, Bhatik. It is not their business to look into how you expand or um, proceed in your career. As long as, but make sure of one thing though, have your lawyers review your job in India and the job that you will get in USA when you come back. That way, they make sure that you qualify under the L1 EB1C criteria.
Hmm,
But you're definitely okay, no problem with that.
okay. Sorry, I'm still deciding if I want this or not. All right.
Kya you?
Next, my employer is ready to sponsor me for an EB2 visa. Should I proceed with accepting the offer? I'm from India and obtained my H1B through a CAP exam,
Yeah,
non-profit. The answer is yes.
yeah, Carvalho, because we want to see you get your I-140 approved. So you should be at that stage in a year and a half or so, maybe two at the most.
Mm,
Once the I-140 is approved, you get many benefits out of it. So you at least get the I-140 approved. And in the meantime, because you are in the academia side, whether you are teaching or you are researching, start building your resume for EB1 category also.
mm, okay. How soon can I have the transfer initiated after October 1st? How soon can I start working in case if I get an offer from another employer?
I would say maybe a couple of pay periods. Now, if your pay period is weekly, make it four. Um,
So
if
one
it
month.
is monthly, make it two. I mean, I would say a couple of months is a relatively safe period. You are not required to stick with the same employer forever. Who does?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's not a question. Thank you, VP. I'm assuming that's a Vinay guy, same, but
He's changed his title to vice president. He will always remain vice president. I
the
was. This is. I was online with Fidelity,
hmm,
one of the investment people, and sick and disgusted. I said, I don't want to keep any accounts with you. Close all my accounts. Half an hour you kept me waiting. So this woman starts apologizing. And I said, her name was Samantha. I said, Samantha, are you the CEO of the company? If you are, next 40 minutes, I'm going to yell at you. And she goes, I'm not the CEO. Just the way she said that. I was like, I know you are not the CEO. So that's why I'm not holding you personally responsible. इन भाई साहब का भी ऐसा है उसने अपना नाम ही
So,
वीपी कर दिया
हाँ, तो अच्छा क्या सीन हुआ like so Fidelity like the retirement investment funds, right?
yeah
So
the time oh, yeah they were just I couldn't log into my accounts. I haven't logged in for a few years. I don't know what's going on.
I mean,
But
yeah,
when I
like
tried, they
this is a
keep sending me all these papers. I wanted to convert it to digital transmissions rather than getting reams of paper.
अच्छा
So, and I couldn't log in and I just kept jerking me around.
okay got it yeah. because I've been deciding between in solo 401k ke liye, like if I go the Fidelity or Vanguard, and so anyway, so that's why I
Um,
was
I have Fidelity, but I think they're all about the same. But I don't know. I have friends who swear by Vanguard.
swear by
UD,
like they like it.
yeah, most हाँ swear by means they like it. यार कितना नालायक है यूडी तो कोई बात नहीं मैं भी इंग्लिश में कई बार बचाऊं बाल बाल बचाऊं
Right. Okay, what are the benefits of I-140? Does spouse can can spouse start working on that status?
there are two benefits. One is pati ya patni pujan. It's good for your spouse, like
Yeah.
you said, she can get or he can get their EAD. दूसरा ये है that if there are compelling circumstances, you could even get an EAD. Now, I'm not a big fan of that EAD because it's given on a year to year basis and they take a long time approving them. And who knows they're going to approve or not. But it certainly opens a channel, even if it is a very narrow channel. Um, so, two things that happen right away. Third thing that happens is if your I-140 is not revoked before 180 days of approval, you can then keep getting your H1B extension beyond 6 years with any employer.
Hmm.
That's true even if later on your employer revokes the I-140. Big advantages. And you get your priority date, which can be taken from case to case.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I'm currently working as a research scientist at a pharmaceutical company. I'm on my STEM OPT. I have my last H1B attempt left next year. My STEM OPT ends January 2026, so I have about 14 months. I do not want to wait till the last attempt in case it does not turn out well. Could you please advise an options I might be eligible other than day one CPT?
इनके लास्ट नेम से रिमेंबर सिंगम ए तावड़े
Right, right, right.
कस्तूरी जी और तो बहुत ही कम choices हैं. I mean, unless you have an extraordinary resume and you can make a case for an O1A, or you get hired by a company that can sponsor you for a J1, and J1 that is not subject to home residency requirement, or you can get a cap exempt job. So, three obvious options that I can see, other than uh, you know marital bliss. If you are dating somebody who's a U.S. green card holder or citizen,
Hmm.
that could be another
But
thing.
I've also seen there are some companies who send to another country and then bring them back on L1.
Oh, L1 तो हम अभी बात करी है उसकी.
Hmm.
Because the L1 is available in two flavors. One is executive or managerial level employee, and the other one is specialized knowledge employee. Specialized knowledge employee is he or she who has some knowledge of the company's processes, products, procedures, etc., and their international market positioning, which is more than many of their internal engineers or internal workers and people who are available in the open market.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's L1B.
Nice. Okay, so since we are out of questions, I'm gonna do
Oh,
some.
that's nice. I'd like to see
Oh,
that.
wait. So there were like many people who registered, and I did this, which is what I wanted to try. Wait, ye
You
kya
just, I get a headache with details, man. I'm not a details person.
One second. Let me figure out.
Just tell me where to go and what to wear, and I'll be there. And
There,
I'll wear what I want. I listen to
there.
what you say.
Nice. Okay. So this should do it. I did get all the questions and then I moved it to a PPT. So hopefully this will be, again, we are trying out. I'm not sure how this is going to go. All right. I
Isn't that
am,
a lot of work for you, though?
it is, but this way I can also structure the sessions. Like I can,
Yeah, similar questions can be
ah,
combined.
exactly.
That's you want me to open a channel for you on forums.com because on immigrationforums.com because You can have your own group and people can post there and you can moderate it. So
Hmm.
people can post their questions and you can drag and drop questions around if you want. You can even
Oh,
merge questions.
ah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can make you the moderator and you can own that group.
Hmm.
Don't do anything naughty there. Other than that, it's
Okay. So the question is, I'm on my STEM OPT, and I have my last. I think we already answered this. So that person did join it.
मेरा टेस्ट ले रहे क्या? ये
Right.
दो बार पूछ के देखो बुड्ढा वही एक ही जवाब देता है कि चेंज कर देता है.
Right. No, no. So some people did join. That's what I was saying. Like they also sent a question and they also joined it. So that's good. Visa got cancelled by CBP at Abu Dhabi Airport. Student of Campbellsville University. 2 semesters left to finish my masters. Can I reapply again with a new admission in another university? Visa cancelled under pursuant. This is the code.
22 CFR 41.22. Is it? Oh yeah, I have to look up what the code is for. So it doesn't look like they're attributing any personal fraud to you. Should
Hmm.
we take a look at it? Read to me. What is it? 22 CFR
41.122 H3
122 H.
3.
Let's take a quick look at it. To H A B C D E F. अरे H तो है नहीं. Am I looking at the right one? 41.112 था.
41.122.
122. Okay. I did the wrong one. Hold on. 0.122. Revocation of visas. A consular office or a department office is authorized to revoke A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. H नहीं है यार. H तो कोई भी नहीं है. It could be something else, but it's basically revocation of visa by immigration officer. An immigration officer is authorized to revoke a valid visa by physically cancelling it. It could be paragraph D. Yeah, it could be D, not H.
Hmm.
It says procedure for physically cancelling visas. Except for provisional revocations, a non-immigrant visa that is revoked shall be cancelled by writing or stamping the word revoked across the face of the visa. The failure or inability to physically cancel it does not look like it is with prejudice. So they can apply again.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. I have my OPT expired and my STEM OPT is in progress and have paid premium processing last week. I need to check in if I can travel to India during this time and return back after my card approval.
I have that in. Remember that little
Mind
mind
map.
map we have. So it's actually on my LinkedIn timeline or whatever that pinned in thing. The क्या बोलते हैं उसको यार जिसमें
Featured post.
a featured post. It's a featured post on my LinkedIn.
Okay.
So
Yeah. This is an important question. My course end date was 4th of May 2024 and I put my EAD start date on 6th of May. Is that okay or will it create any problem because I have applied my EAD in Feb? Still it's in processing. Please answer.
you better check with your DSO. I'm not sure exactly what the timelines are. There are three different times you have to abide by when you file the EAD. And if it is not yet adjudicated, you'll be able to upload evidence. So you can
Hmm.
actually upload new things there, including a new I-20 endorsed by the DSO for the right dates if there is a problem. Get in touch with your DSO right away. You'll be able to correct this, but don't delay it. अभी के अभी कर लो उनको.
Okay. Can a spouse of F1 student living in F2 visa in the USA, continue to finish her PhD program she started in her home country, India? Is it within the laws of F2 visa? Will
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
be an issue?
So, in other words, can I, sitting in the United States, finish my PhD that I was doing in India? Sure,
Hmm,
absolutely.
nice. Okay. For my F1 visa, will my immigration interview be at Dallas airport or during my Dubai layover? What questions will I be asked, particularly regarding financial funds? What document should I provide if I have taken out a loan?
So, normally they don't really go into all these details.
Yeah.
So, you're asking me about Customs and Border Protection, CBP. What document should you carry? That's common sense, actually. Whatever tends to prove that you have the money, in your case, it's the loan documents. There must be a loan approval document of some kind. You can carry that, and you can also carry your copies of your bank statements, monthly bank statements.
Hmm. And I think usually the question and usually the interview will be the first port of entry in United States, not.
No, but you see, there are two or three. Actually, there's I think five maybe. Um, what do they call them? Pre-clearance, immigration pre-clearance. One is in Abu Dhabi, another one is Dublin Airport. These are the two I have used the most.
Hmm.
So they actually, if you clear immigration there in those two ports or some other, there's like four or five, I think. Then you walk in when you land in the US, you just walk in through. You don't go through the immigration again.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are few, right?
वो
That's
प्री
right.
क्लियरेंस कर देते हैं वहाँ पे.
Yeah. Part 2 EB1 visa for a non-tech employee.
That's here is what I want you to do. Go to any of the intelligent AI models. Okay. Make sure you have the don't use my data to train option turned on or train with my data turned off. Upload your resume. Um, I think you could go to any of the intelligent, even open source models. Some of them are very intelligent. You can upload it and say, tell me what can I do to improve my case for EB1A green card. That's all you need to write because now you've got green card in there, so they know you're looking for immigration. You've
Hmm.
got EB1A there, and they've got your resume there. You'll be surprised how good the answer is. I was actually thinking of retiring. I said, nah, you don't need me anymore. And then I realized how stupid AI is.
Right, right. Okay. Probability of I-140 after moving to a new employer. What happens if the job description is completely different from what was filed with the previous
उसका
employer?
क्या फर्क पड़ता? So I'll give you an example. I'm not, and I'm assuming that you're not talking about AC21 where jobs have to be same or similar. Those are the cases where your 485 has been filed. But if you're just taking your priority date to a new employer, then it can be totally different. So I have a degree in biology and a bunch of degrees in law. Let's say I was working as a lawyer, I got my I-140 approved. Next job, I get, um, I don't know, researching autoimmune diseases. I really like that. I said, I don't want to do law anymore. I want to go and kill mice. So
Hmm.
then I take the next job as a researcher. Now my first approval as the for the green card I-140 was a lawyer, but now I'm doing it as a researcher. Do I still carry my priority date? Absolutely. And I can even get an H1B as long as I qualify for two different jobs,
Hmm.
each one independently. I can get an H1B in either one of those.
Hmm. Okay. Nice. Question for Rajiv Ji. Mainly want to understand if it's worth pursuing or not. What are your opinions on EB2 national interest waiver for a robotics engineer who has worked in the agriculture sector? I plan to continue working for such companies' research to build hardware and software solution for farmers. For context, I had been working for robotics ag tech company in the hardware software integration role that raised $130 million USD in the latest round, but I've been laid off for that startup from
Yeah, see, remember when we started talking this evening, the first thing I said is they are looking only for two answers. Vinay ji, आप में क्या है भाई साहब और आपके काम में क्या है? So,
Mm,
two things they want to look at: what is so special about you, which an ordinary robotics engineer is not giving us? And two, what is the non local or national level importance of your work, your particular work? Field is very important, agreed. But your particular work, how does it go beyond the four walls of your company? Or how does it impact the field? Either one or both. Okay. So if I had to argue your case, I would probably have to argue that you are a very important part of the machinery, and the company is supplying robots in, or they plan to supply robots in X number of states. But if you don't have a job, if that job has gotten lost, that might be a more difficult argument to make.
mm,
So, is it worth trying? Without a job, I would have my doubts. But you know what, Vinay? The thing is, I I could be the smartest lawyer in town or even in the country, but when I'm dealing with somebody who's so unpredictable, there are officers who I had a case denied last week, which was a shock to the system. First NIW denial ever. And the case was denied for the most flimsy reasons. Unfortunately, I'm not sure the clients are going to appeal. They're going to let a very bad decision stand. I told them, if you do nothing else, just appeal it. Just don't even write any argument. Just say, we stand on our briefs. Here is, this case was incorrectly decided. Pay the $600 to the government. And you'll be surprised, even though only 2% appeals are successful, some cases are so worthwhile. We had one reversed a couple of weeks ago, somebody from South Africa. They denied his case. I said, don't let it go. You have a good case. Spend the extra $600. You don't need to hire us. Just, and he did, and he won.
nice. Mm,
So, because some cases you can see, these cases are very good cases. So, you never know, Vin. And the bottom line of the story, the moral of the story is, if you remember from moral science, the moral of the story, did you study moral science?
I did not. No.
Okay, obviously. I mean, I shouldn't have asked. We used to have a subject called moral science, how to be a good guy or a good girl.
But
How to
I'm
say,
not a good guy, so
I kind of figured that. I was like, oh, wrong question. I withdraw my question.
right.
So in moral science, every story used to have a moral. So
Mm,
here the moral is that first, it is unpredictable. EB1 categories are all unpredictable, and NIW is unpredictable. Um, Take a chance. If you got a bunch of money sitting around doing nothing, you want to try it yourself, you can, as long as you don't lie about anything.
mm,
नहीं बोल देंगे ना, गोली तो नहीं मार देंगे.
mm,
Because there's no penalty. It's not like you get negative marks, that they're going to check mark it. Okay, Vinay Prakash got a denial, so 5 marks off the next time around. No such thing. Each case is a new case. It's decided from the ground up.
mm, mm, mm. Okay. What are your thoughts on EB2 priority date moment? My EB2 priority days is now January 2023.
I am a simple person with simple mathematical logic. Number of applicants has not decreased, number of visas has not increased.
Mm,
You do the math.
yeah. Is this going to be available on YouTube? Yes, on Saturday. Yeah.
मोनिका को भेज देना इसका एक लिंक.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Yep. Okay. I'm working with a salon and spa company as an assistant manager, but the company is not e-verified company, and I submitted all the documents in university, MIN university, or and got I-120 as well, and my EAD is in progress. 3 months or more or so, I uploaded new I-120 on my portal. Now the question is, will I receive I?
But Firdaus ji, um, not every OPT, CPT, etc. requires a. I don't know about CPT. I don't think it requires you to the company to be e-verified. First year of OPT does not require. Only STEM OPT requires. So not every company has to be e-verified.
Hmm. Okay, nice. All right. STEM OPT application related. I have applied with consulting company offer letter, and now I got full-time job. Should I change my employer now or not? I hear it's not recommended to make employer change while application is pending. Should I go for PP and
Yeah,
change?
it's a little complicated if you do it while the application is pending. The way it was described to me was that when the USCIS officer looks at your application, your STEM OPT application, they hit the e-verify portal to check if your name appears on the uh, company's employees list. Okay, so they actually follow through, and if your name is not there, they might just deny the application. So
Mm,
if you are in between changing and the new company has not been yet acknowledged, talk to your DSO. They should be able to assist you in what is the right course. If there is still time remaining in your STEM OPT extension and STEM OPT application, and you think that you can quickly get the move over and upload the documents of the new employer, because remember the DSO also has to update SEVIS,
yeah.
your new employer information, get the 981 or whatever that form is.
Mm, okay. My STEM OPT ended on June 1st, 2023. I didn't pursue day one CPT. I applied for an I-539 to change the status from F1 to B2 on June 4th, 2024. Should I leave before my 60-day grace period ends if my case is still received status?
No, you can stay while the case is pending, the B2 is pending, because you're not illegal in the country. If you got your, um, if you have a 60-day grace period, you did not pursue, okay. My STEM OPT ended on June 1st, so June, July, August. So before August, you filed your B2. While the B2 is pending, you are considered to be authorized period of stay. You're not illegal. You can continue to stay until the case is, if denied, it is denied, or until the 6 months that you have asked for are about to expire. So if you applied in August and you asked for, let's say, till January or whatever the 6 months are, then you can stay till January, or when the case is decided. If it is decided against you, then you leave. One question I'm asked is, how soon do I have to leave? Reasonable. There's no law on this specifically. I mean, technically, you're supposed to be out the following day, but this is not like taking a Uber to the movies or something. This, you have to book a ticket and you have to do all sorts of things.
Right.
So therefore,
Why do you
reasonable.
say August? He applied on June 4th, 2024.
So even before, STEM OPT ended on June 1st. So then you have a 60-day grace period, right? So they applied within the 60-day grace period.
Acha. Okay. So, got it. So that's why you're counting July and August first.
Yeah, that's why I said ना, अगर जून में हुआ तो जून से जुलाई 1 मंथ, जुलाई से अगस्त सेकंड मंथ,
Hmm.
अगर अगस्त से पहले पहले कर दिया तो यू आर गुड.
Okay. Got it. Can we do side hustle or business when we are in F1 or H1B
I
visa?
feel like अमिताभ बच्चन फ्रॉम शोले. पहली बार सुना है ये नाम बसंती.
uh,
Yeah, no sir.
yeah. Yeah. Do I need to report my marriage to the USCIS service portal before applying for an F2 visa? Will not doing so cause any issues with my spouse visa application?
I'm not sure of any. I have never heard of this, but what you can do is go to just Google or web search one word, study in the states. So
Hmm.
you'll come to a site called study in the state, dhs.studyinthestates.gov. You can check what you have to report and what you don't have to report. That site is maintained by Department of Homeland Security. It is a site that every student should go to.
Hmm.
In addition to UD's channel, you should go to that site.
Yeah. But like what would you type here? Marriage?
I wouldn't type it here. I would go to Perplexity and type it from there.
Acha.
I would say, um, so do I have to update my service before I get married and apply for F2? Apply. I put it in Perplexity. Seek the answer only in .gov domain.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
.gov or .edu domain, because even edu is okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm currently on my initial STEM OPT. My OPT started in February 2023, ended on 20th February 2024. Now, what options do I have if my H1B doesn't come next year? I think we covered.
MOPT नहीं है हमारे पास.
हाँ, वो STEM OPT में है. एंड
Ah,
अगर लास्ट ईयर उसका नहीं हुआ तो क्या ऑप्शंस है?
so we've talked about this so
या
many times. We just did.
या
I mean, CPT, L1 if you get positioned outside the United States, O1 if you're exceptionally bright and your resume supports that, J1 if a company has that option available. What else did we miss? L1 we already did. H1B for cap exempt employers. These are some of the options that I can think of off the top of my
नाइस.
head.
Okay. I have completed 3 years in research-based thesis master and about to graduate in fall, and will complete my 3.5 years in masters by then. Is it safe to travel to India this month? And will they ask questions as such? Why is it taking so long for you to graduate, and what is the need to travel while the semester
I
as
would
it?
definitely want some support from my advisor or from my school about why it took longer than usual to get the master's degree done and
Hmm.
that you were maintaining status. So, other than that, go to my LinkedIn page and you will see, and even on our website, it's a little bit more difficult to locate the information on our website, but there's a mind map. Our website is immigration.com. You go to my blog, on the top ribbon, there's my blog, and it's probably, I think it's going to be difficult to find. I mean, I can find it because I know how to search.
Yeah.
Not that you don't know how to search, but it's a faceted search. So you could actually enter um, travel and student, and then you could go to my.
I know I have the link, so
You
I'll
know
just
where.
put the
Or
link.
LinkedIn is easy because it's pinned on my.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mind map that tells you when you can travel. It's
Yep.
3 4 years old, but it's good information.
Yep. Okay. Can I trade
Yuri,
stocks?
you told me you were done, right?
What do you mean by done?
When you say, oh, you meant live audience was done. These are questions that you have collected
So
from here and there.
there are audience who are still watching us live,
Ah,
but
acha,
if
acha.
if they have questions, then I switch to questions, and then if they don't,
Oh,
then I switch to this.
how creative.
All right. Can I trade stocks? Indian market, Zerodha is a platform. While studying in the US on F1 visa, you mentioned the US markets are off limits. So clarifying about Indian ones.
You see, there are two schools of thought on this. One school of thought says, um, if you are trading a stock that has nothing to do with the United States, they don't sell anything in the US, they don't have any subsidiaries, it's hard to find companies like that in today's world. Publicly traded companies have some hookup with every country in the world, somewhere. That's one school of thought. The other one where I belong is that why do you want to mess with it? Because if you get caught, they could say it's a violation of your status and they could take away your student status.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you hear about the Reddit guy?
yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I very creative though. I think he'll do very well as a lawyer.
Right, right.
Tell him to go to law school. He must be your friend, right?
He's not my friend.
You didn't guide him through all that?
No, I did not.
The Lehigh Valley guy.
Right. Yeah. All right. I'm currently on F1 visa and I accidentally applied for an account with MX, which is only meant for US citizens. Upon realizing my mistake, I canceled the account. Will this cause any issues
Yeah.
to me in the future? No.
I'm not concerned about that.
Yeah. Okay. Given I have approved I-140 with H1B visa, let's say I move back to India after 10, 15 years and before my priority date gets current, can I move back to US on this H1B plus I-140?
Yes, you can.
Oh, really? Like, so what is, I remember you are talking about this. What is it called? What?
Remainder option.
Ha. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but this is not remainder option. This is because of the I-140. I-140 once approved is good forever.
Okay. Mm,
And if the I-140 stayed approved for 180 days, then it can be used even if the old employer revoked the I-140. So now combine the two principles. We have
mm,
an I-140 that is good forever. And if an I-140 is good, you can get an H1B extension outside the lottery.
mm. Okay.
Now,
Nice.
unless they change the law, I mean, 10, 12 years, who knows what the law is going to be.
Yeah. 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 Okay. H1B got picked this year, and I might get a full time job next week. However, my current employer, who is a consultancy, is telling me that I can't change my employer right now because my H1B is approved and that I can only change it after October. Is that correct?
Yeah, we talked about that. I prefer that you work with that employer a couple of pay periods before
Yeah.
you change.
Yeah. I'm recently graduate student. I'm looking for full-time job on F1 visa. I currently do not have a job, but I'm working in an NGO. Would that affect my immigration?
So if you are getting paid in cash or in kind, then you are violating your status. But if you're just volunteering at an NGO, no problem.
Hmm. And if he's working for an NGO related to the education, like developing a
That
website.
doesn't matter because think of it this way. Serving at an NGO is like helping somebody with their luggage. Some old person is walking with their luggage, like me, for example, and you walk over, say, "Let me help you, sir. You look like you're going to pass out." Now, that's volunteer work. Can the government say you violated your status? Of course not.
Okay.
Now, here's an interesting corollary to that. What if this guy gives you $50, says, "Thank you very much for helping me"? Is that violation of your status?
And I
No.
would not say, yeah, no,
There
yeah.
is a case like that. Some lady got a job working for, I think it was New York Mets, maybe, or one of these teams.
Hmm.
And she was a volunteer on student visa. And they were so pleased with her work, they gave her a season ticket, which is, I don't know, thousands of dollars. So USCIS has nothing better to do. So they went after the student. They said, "Oh, we're going to revoke your status." And the court said, "Nonsense. This was not bargained for. This was not something she expected. She didn't want it. It was given to her as a gift. That's not a violation of status."
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Nice. All right. I have exhausted all three attempts this year, moved to day one CPT. Is it possible to start I-140 process via employer being on F1 visa? Could I face any issues if starting the process on F1, or should one wait until H1B is picked?
Well, the thing is, if you start it on F1 and then later on convert to H1B or O1, etc., then there's no problem. Having a green card pending on I-140 by itself may not be an issue, but they look at your overall history. Now, you came for, let's say, 2 years to do your master's and you've been here 22 years. Of course, they are going to say, "Bhai sahab, kya chal raha hai?" You know.
Right. Okay, Bautik wants to know where did I get Bruno from? Bruno is my dog's name. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, I bought it. I mean, from the litter. So
Bought it? Does he know you're calling him an it?
him.
Uh,
Yeah, it's from the. There are a lot of like people who.
I would get a I would adopt a dog. I would not purchase a dog.
Hmm. But they like where would you adopt it? I mean, yeah, you could from the shelter,
So
but
from the shelter.
yeah.
Of course, you have to be mindful that you may not always get the best dog, but almost everyone I know, except one instance, um, hundreds of people I've met, they've adopted dogs. Dog gets a family, you get a dog. Most of them are trained already. Some of them may be traumatized, but you can tell.
Yeah,
If
but
you
it
take,
depends. Like if it's a puppy versus like 3, 4 years
oh,
old.
and even if it's three, if even if he is 3, 4 years old or she is 3, 4 years old, uh, if they are well trained and they have a good temperament, you can tell about a dog. It's
Yeah.
very seldom that you can't tell about people, but you can tell about dogs most of the times.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Yeah. We wanted golden retriever. That was like, if we are gonna get a dog, then I want golden retriever. I
He
at least
probably calls you it too. Secretly in his own mind, he's like, "Oh,
he
it has
probably
to be."
does. He probably does. Nice. Okay. How does traffic tickets like reckless driving ticket affect your immigration applications or work visa application?
Yeah. So reckless is not a traffic ticket anymore. Most states, if you have a reckless, that's a criminal offense. Hit and
Oh.
run is a criminal offense.
Hmm.
You drive over a bicyclist, that's probably a criminal offense. So distinguish between traffic violations and criminal violations. And within traffic, distinguish between moving violations and non moving violations. Because if you have a non moving violation, you got a ticket for parking in the wrong place, even if you got $1,000 ticket, doesn't matter. But if it's a moving violation, then we have to ask whether it rises to the level of a criminal offense. So
Like, for example, speeding, if it was like
yeah,
70 and you're
speeding
going,
is so if you are going in a 55-mile zone, you are going 65, you might get speeding, right? But if you are going 95 miles an hour, you'll get reckless. And the
hmm,
reckless is going to be a criminal offense, most probably.
okay.
And
Hmm,
that can be a problem. Now, is it a crime of moral turpitude? Too many factors affect that. So try not to recklessly drive. It's
hmm,
also not good for people who are on the roads.
yeah. Mm, in Texas, speeding is class C misdemeanor. But
Yeah.
again, speeding
Speeding.
depends on how much limit.
So even class C misdemeanor probably won't be a problem unless you have too many of them. Because on one misdemeanor where the maximum punishment is less than 1 year and you actually don't get any sentence, which is unlikely anyway. So that may have no consequence. It's covered by something called petty offense exception.
Hmm,
It has no consequences. But why do you want to tempt the fates, right?
yeah. And so let's say if someone did get this reckless driving ticket, how does it affect like work
Some of
visa?
them can be deportation offenses.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, like, for example, I had a case of a physician who got caught with what do they call them? Schedule A drugs, something like that. There were some drugs in his trunk of his car, what you call speed, methamphetamine. Um, and the reason he had them was because they were free samples. They were just lying around in his.
Hmm.
So, but that's a deportable offense. Even though he has a green card, they can deport him.
Hmm.
Okay. Of course, that got resolved eventually, but that's an example of how you can get stuck with something major, with something that is normally minor.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. We'll do last two questions and then we'll call it for today. Okay. Can I transfer my F1 to family petition? I have long way to go for that petition. It was filed in 2012.
What does that mean? Transfer F1 to family. There's no such procedure.
Okay. All
So
right.
you're confusing while you are waiting for the green card to become current. You have to have some visa, and that is F1, because the green card is not a visa until you actually get it.
Hmm. Okay. Can I do multiple job in my first year of OPT? Any limitations on hours?
Yeah, just that each job, this is what I've heard people say. I have never tested it personally, that each job must be at least 20 hours each week. Do you
Even
want
in first year of OPT? अच्छा हाँ first year में भी होना चाहिए, correct.
20 to hona chahiye na?
हाँ. But like maximum, is there a
There's no
maximum?
maximum limit.
अच्छा. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually doubtful about that 30-day ceiling. I think as long as the cumulative is at least 20 hours each week, why should anyone have a problem? So it's interesting because I know at least one case which is personally tested where somebody was had their own business while they were on first year OPT. So
Hmm.
she was doing design for several companies. So if you think about it, she really didn't have a 20-hour job. She was working for herself. So we can argue on the one hand that she had multiple clients, but her job was basically for herself. And so it was at least 20 hours. But none of the contracts was necessarily 20 hours.
Mhm. Okay. All right. One last one. Hola, UD and Rajiv Ji. My driver's license renewal request was declined as I am still waiting for my STEM OPT extension. Can I continue to drive using my Indian driver's license?
That depends upon the state you are in. So you need to go and talk to the DMV or the Department of Motor Vehicles. Many of them have these exemptions when you have an application pending. Uh, Many DMVs have those exemptions. So see if they can work you in one of the exemptions.
Even if someone has stayed, because I thought Indian driver license you can for first six
No,
months of your
no,
using
no,
it.
no, no. Every state has its own rules.
Acha, okay. All right, cool. This was good. We'll continue next week, and hopefully people will get used to it. I did a very short notice, like I asked people like in morning, so you know whatever. But I think this was good. Thank you, Rajiv ji. We'll
Did you
talk.
get your six pack yet or no?
Not yet, not yet. It's. I mean, I have to lose 80 pounds, so there's a
Oh,
long
no,
time.
we are talking about the next 7.5 years or so. Because,
7 years though.
yeah, because every time you lose weight, then you go to India and you eat mangoes and come back, you're back to square one.
ट्रू ट्रू नहीं नहीं इस बार नहीं करेंगे इस बार I'm very serious. So
Yeah, but see,
also I
mangoes.
forgot to tell you, like I'll be in DC
Mhm.
September 23rd wala week, I think. So
We can hang out.
yeah, and this time I'll book around that your Virginia
Yeah,
wala
it's lot easier
link.
here.
Yeah, link.
Lot easier.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. We will talk
See you
soon.
then.
Thank
Bye.
you, everybody. Bye.